When my sister confessed, I learned my siblings funded my dates and gifts, and now I'm separating from my blackout drunk husband. Okay, so this blindsided me. My jaw just locked up. I checked their messages. Screenshots, transfers, months of it. I mean, who does that? And here's where it gets worse. They weren't one-offs. There were regular payments, labeled dinner, movies, and anniversary. One note read, for her smile. My hands went cold. The timestamps showed 2 a.m. I scrolled, and the pit in my stomach tightened. My sister had covered one vacation. My brother covered another. The paper trail wasn't even subtle. I stared at my sister. How long? She rubbed her face. Since his first firing. My brother stood by the sink. We kept you afloat. Her voice thinned. We just wanted you happy. I gripped the counter. You should have told me. My phone was still open to the bank app when the truth finished sliding into place. 23 transfers. 4 months straight last year. Then another stretch, 3 times weekly. Since March. One gift purchase labeled jewelry for her. A bigger one for flights. I swallowed hard. At this point, I'm just done. I can't unsee it. The math isn't kind. The love story I defended, it's been crowdfunded. My therapist leaned forward, her face steady. One more blackout could end with a crash, an arrest, or trauma. You can't reverse. I felt heat rise in my chest. She tapped her notebook. The financial pattern is clear. If this continues 6 more months, you'll drain your emergency savings entirely. Her voice stayed calm. If he refuses treatment and keeps missing work, termination is likely. The consequence for you is debt and isolation. I called his doctor to ask about referrals. The nurse wouldn't discuss anything. Privacy walls. I tried insurance next. Couples therapy was covered, but only if both attended. He wouldn't. I just stood there, thinking, if the system won't help, and he won't help. What now? Part of me wanted to pack everything that night. Part of me wanted to give him one clean chance. Now, I know what you're thinking. Ultimatums rarely work. I still drafted one. I opened the front door and set my bag down. He was hunched over the game console. Empty cans ringed the coffee table. I gathered the cans. I powered off the TV. His shoulders tensed at the silence. I sat across from him and breathed slowly until my hand steadied. We need to talk, I started. He didn't look up. About what? I placed my phone on the table, the money, the drinking, your jobs. His voice went flat. There's nothing to discuss. So I'm like, my siblings paid for our dates. He blinked hard. Why does that matter? It matters because you let me lie. He scoffed. You wanted the nights. My throat tightened. I wanted my husband. He crossed his arms. I'm doing my best. Then I laid out the numbers. 23 transfers. 4 months last year. 3 times weekly since March. Birthday dinner. Anniversary trip. The ring he presented as from him. My leg bounced. He glanced at the phone, then away. At this point, I'm just done. Their money meant we still went out, he threw back. Their money meant you hid, I fired. He stood quickly, the chair scraping tile. You're obsessed with money. Money keeps the lights on. Loyalty should count more. His voice sharpened. You used to believe in us. I still do, I answered, softer. But belief doesn't pay rent. He looked past me, jaw clenched. The air in the room felt thin. I held my breath and waited for him to reach for anything resembling ownership. He didn't. I grabbed the drawer key and unlocked our file box. Bills, notices, warnings. I sorted them into piles. Electric, behind by 2 weeks. Internet, on a payment plan. His job email, unread, with attendance alerts flagged. I printed them when I could. Coffee stains, marked 1 page. My shoulders tensed reading the line, final warning. So here's the thing, I said. I'm done covering for you. He stared at the wall. You'll come around. I tapped the paper stack. No, here's what happens next. He turned finally. What's that? I kept my voice even. You stop drinking entirely. You attend meetings, 3 times weekly, for 4 months. You see a doctor for an evaluation. You start therapy. You keep your job, no more missed days except real emergencies. We revisit in May, or we file. He laughed once. Therapy's a scam. My jaw locked again. Then you're choosing the alternative. He paced toward the hallway. You can't control me. I'm not. I'm protecting me. He paused. Where am I supposed to go? Your brother offered the couch, I said. Tonite. His eyes narrowed. You told them. They already knew, I answered. They've been paying for your pride. His voice rose. You always wanted them involved. Actually, I begged them not to be. Silence stretched. I waited. He dropped onto the couch, hands on his knees. You're just reacting. You've been reacting for years. And then, everything changed. He caught the edge of the coffee table and steadied himself. I'll cut back, he muttered. Not enough, I replied. I'll prove it. How? I asked. With what plan? He looked at the TV. I'll figure it out. I stared at the ceiling. I'm done believing that sentence. He grabbed his jacket. I'm going out. Keys stay, I said. You're not driving. He threw the key ring onto the table. Fine. Your brother's place, I reminded. Now. He pushed past me without meeting my eyes. The door clicked shut. I exhaled slowly. My shoulders dropped for the first time in days. Part of me wanted to run after him. Part of me wanted to lock every door. I wondered if he'd show up tomorrow acting like this was a spat that blew over. I woke up before my alarm, mouth dry, eyes gritty. I grabbed the stack of bills from the counter. and sorted them. Then I powered up my laptop and logged into the bank. And get this, the checking account was negative. Not by a little, by hundreds. My shoulders went tight. 2 unfamiliar withdrawals showed pending. Payday lender names I didn't recognize. I clicked into the details and saw automatic debits with absurd fees. I mean, what am I even looking at? I called the bank. No answer at first. I tried again. A person finally picked up. I explained the charges and the overdraft. The rep cleared her throat. Those are authorized through your debit card. I pressed the phone harder to my ear. I didn't authorize them. The rep paused. They're linked to an online contract. My hand shook. Can I dispute? You can file claims. Her voice went steady. It may take 30 days. Is there a contact for the lender? I asked. I can provide numbers, she replied. Also, another debit is queued for Friday. My stomach twisted. From the same lender? 2 lenders, she answered. 1 hits weekly. I closed my eyes and counted breaths. Freeze the card. Done. Paper rustled faintly through the line. Do you want a replacement card mailed? No. I'll use savings, then transfer later. I hung up and leaned against the counter. Part of me wanted to scream. Part of me wanted to laugh at the absurdity. Now, I know what you're thinking. Close the account already on it. I drove to the branch and met with a manager. We moved my direct deposit. We opened a new number. We set alerts for every transaction. The manager slid a fraud packet across the desk. Document everything, she said. Screenshots, dates, lender contacts. Her expression hardened. If those contracts used your information improperly, file a police report. I went home and opened my credit report. A new inquiry appeared last week. Not mine. My jaw clenched. I placed a freeze with each bureau. Then I emailed my therapist a short update, because if I didn't put words somewhere, I'd start shaking again. He texted around lunch. You changed the bank. I stared at the message. Yes, he replied fast. Overacting again. I set the phone down. Then I picked it back up. You took out loans. He pinged again. I borrowed barely anything. 2 lenders. Weekly debits, I typed. Stop minimizing. Nothing came back for 5 minutes. Then, it's covered soon. My leg bounced. You don't have permission to use my information. I watched the typing dots appear, then disappear, twice. Finally, I didn't use your info. I started a reply, then deleted it. I called 1 lender. A clipped voice asked for the reference number. I read it out. We received a signed authorization, she explained. Date is March 17th. Send the documents, I requested. Email is on file? Yes. There's also a recorded consent. Send that too. Within 48 hours, she acknowledged. My temples throbbed. 48 hours felt like a lifetime. I met my sister at her place after work. I lugged a box of files upstairs. She opened the door quickly. You look wrecked. I dropped the box by her couch. He used payday lenders. Her eyebrows shot up. With your card? Online contracts, I answered. Recurring debits. My brother arrived a few minutes later, carrying takeout. He set the bags down. You look pale. We need a plan, my sister said. I pulled out a notepad. Credit freeze is done. New bank account opened. Card replaced. Claims filed. My brother paced while thinking. Call your insurer. Make sure your car is covered solo. I nodded and dialed. The agent confirmed the policy. Remove the additional driver, I requested. Effective now. She confirmed the change. My shoulders lowered a notch. My sister poured water for everyone. Text him the boundary. I typed slowly. No access to accounts. No car use. No entering without notice. Sober participation required for any conversation. I hit send. The 3 of us stared at the screen like it would conjure sanity, he replied. Quick. You're embarrassing yourself. I held the phone up. My sister rolled her eyes. My brother shook his head. Another text arrived. You're making me the enemy. Then another. This is why people say you're controlled by your family. Heat rose in my chest. I typed carefully. This is about debt and safety. He responded. You'll calm down? I put the phone face down. At this point, I'm just done. Now, I know what you're thinking, I told my sister. Change the locks. We scheduled it for tomorrow morning. My brother glanced at the wall. Where are the spare keys? I walked to the entryway and checked the hook. The spare key spot was empty. My throat tightened. He took them. We stared at each other. He can't drive your car, my sister said. You have both main keys. He can still get in, I answered, and take the title, the documents. My brother squared his shoulders. I'll sleep here tonight. I nodded. Thank you. He grabbed a blanket and stretched on the couch. Part of me wanted to believe the worst was behind us. Part of me knew denial cost me months. I made tea I wouldn't drink and scrolled through the email inbox for the lender packet. Nothing yet. I checked the calendar through May. I counted weeks. I calculated what I could save if he stopped draining the account. The numbers felt like stones. Around 9, my phone buzzed again. An unknown number flashed. I answered. This is a sheriff's deputy, a calm voice said. My heart raced. Is this the owner of a blue compact sedan? Yes. It was involved in a minor collision, the deputy continued. No other vehicles. Single car into a guardrail. I grabbed my keys. Is the driver okay? He's in custody for suspected drunk driving, the deputy explained. I didn't argue with the deputy. I pulled on shoes, clipped my hair back, and texted my brother. He stood up from the couch instantly. We drove in silence until red and blue lights washed over the road ahead. A patrol car idled near the guardrail. The front bumper of my car was bent inward. My chest went hollow. The deputy walked over holding a clipboard. His tone stayed even. "Are you the owner?" I nodded once. "Yes." He glanced at my brother, then back at me. "The driver identified himself as your husband." I swallowed hard. "We're separated." He held my gaze. He blew over the limit. My hands shook. "Is anyone hurt?" "No injuries," he answered. "Mostly property damage." He gestured toward the car. "It'll be towed." "I removed him from the policy today," I managed. "You did the right thing," he replied. "For now. Do you want to provide a statement about unauthorized use?" My jaw clenched. I looked at the tow truck pulling up. "Yes, I do." He guided me through the statement. I kept it factual. He did not have permission. He did not have keys. The spare was missing. The deputy wrote slowly and read it back. "You can request restitution during sentencing," he concluded. My brother tucked his hands into his pockets. "We'll figure out the repairs," he murmured. I signed the form with a stiff wrist. The deputy's voice turned practical. "He'll see a judge in the morning." I nodded and thanked him. We watched the tow truck hook the frame. The car lifted with a mechanical groan. My throat burned, but I kept my face still. I breathed through it. Back at the apartment, my sister waited at the door. Her arms came around me hard. "You did the right thing," she murmured. I leaned on the wall. "I'm reporting the lenders tomorrow," I said. "And I'm changing the locks at 8, she nodded, jaw tight. I already booked the locksmith. My brother lifted the overnight bag he had packed for me. "You're not staying here alone tonight." I almost argued. Then I didn't. We made beds on the floor with spare blankets and left the lights on in the hall. Morning came fast. The locksmith arrived on time. He worked quietly while my sister made coffee. We tested every door twice. The click at the end felt final. I emailed my landlord to document the separation and the police report. Then I called my manager to request a personal day. My voice stayed steady. As soon as I hung up, the lender email landed. 2 attachments. I opened the contract first. His signature. Our apartment address, not my handwriting. The second file held a short audio. I listened once. A voice confirmed the terms. The voice was his. My stomach flipped. I saved the files and forwarded everything to the bank. He texted mid-morning. "I need you to pick me up." I stared at the screen. I typed slowly. "No. They will release me," he wrote. "I signed my own paperwork," I replied. "Call a ride. Or your brother." A minute passed. "You really left me," he wrote. Heat rose under my collarbone. "You left me first," I typed. "You left me every time you chose a drink over a plan." No response came back. Around noon, a public defender called. "He listed you as emergency contact," she explained. "He faces driving under the influence, unauthorized use of a vehicle, and property damage." I rubbed my temple. "What are the conditions?" "The judge set release with conditions," she continued. "No alcohol, no driving, mandatory assessment. A no contact option is available if you want it." I closed my eyes. "I want temporary no contact until we sort property and logistics." "I will inform the court," she replied. "You can coordinate through counsel." My therapist squeezed me in that afternoon. I sat on her couch with my shoulders lifted to my ears. She folded her hands. "You did hard things," she observed. My voice came rough. "I pressed charges on my husband." She inhaled slowly. "You took steps to protect your safety and your future." I watched the rug pattern so I wouldn't start shaking. "Part of me still wants to run to the jail," I admitted. "Part of me wants to block his number forever." She nodded once. "Both parts make sense," I exhaled. "What if I never loved him right?" "You loved him," she answered. "He stopped loving himself enough to meet you." When I got home, a brown envelope leaned against the door. Court paperwork, already moving. A hearing date in 2 weeks. Conditions spelled in simple sentences. No contact. No driving. No alcohol. Mandatory assessment. Mandatory meetings, 3 times weekly. I placed the papers on the table and stared at the wall until my vision steadied. Then I called a family lawyer. Her assistant scheduled a consult for the next morning. My sister watched me over her mug. "How are you breathing?" I shrugged one shoulder. "In and out." She half smiled. "That counts." My brother came by with groceries and set them on the counter. He opened his arms and I stepped into them without thinking. "I'm proud of you," he told me. His voice went rough. "I'm sorry we hid the help." I pulled back. "You did it for love." He looked away. "We should have told you, though." "We're here now," I said. We held eye contact and understood the whole sentence. The lawyer's office felt crisp and efficient. She reviewed my timeline. Then the lender documents. "We will separate finances formally," she outlined. "We will request exclusive use of the apartment through the lease end. We will file for divorce with a temporary order that preserves your accounts. We will notify the court of criminal conditions." I nodded while she drafted. "What about the car?" I asked. "We attach repair estimates to restitution," she answered.